One of the most asked questions I get on the Kendall Arnold Fishing YouTube channel is, how well do KastKing reels compare against other competitor reels? It's been asked quite a bit, so I thought in this video we would go over that. I'm going to compare my favorite cranking reel to my old cranking reel. Let's get started. So the reel that I'm going to be comparing the KastKing WhiteMax to is the Lews Laser MG Speed Spool. Both of these are considered cranking reels. They are both in that 5-to-1 gear ratio. The KastKing is a 5.3-to-1 gear ratio, while the Lews is a 5.4-to-1. It's a little bit quicker, but both of them are considered cranking reels. Whenever I say cranking reel, I'm talking about crankbaits, spinnerbaits, swim jigs, and your swim baits, stuff like that, stuff that you keep in motion. Reels in this category with this gear ratio are a little bit slower when you're reeling, and that really makes your lures, more natural looking. You might be reeling pretty fast, but your lure isn't exactly ripping through the water. So that's why I consider both of these cranking specific reels. Now, whenever I think of crankbaits, swim jigs, swim baits, stuff like that, I'm thinking about long casts and smoothness. I want the retrieve to be pretty smooth with that long cast. And the way I judge how well the smoothness will be and how well the retrieve will be is by the ball bearings. The more ball bearings a reel has, generally, it'll be more smoother, it'll cast better, it'll retrieve better. The minimum ball bearings I'll fish with just about any reel is 8. And to start off with, that's exactly what the Lews has. It has 8 ball bearings, which is alright. That's the bare minimum I would fish with on just about any bait caster. Nothing wrong with that. The KastKing has 11 plus 1, so 12 ball bearings. That makes it quite a bit smoother on the cast and quite a bit smoother on the retrieve, which is actually really nice, especially comparing these two reels. They have a very different price range. I haven't mentioned that yet either. The Lews retails for right around 80 bucks. If you're looking for a reel about $100, that's what most people go for if you're trying to find a good cranking reel. However, the WhiteMax comes in at under 40 bucks, and it has that much more bearings, and honestly, it's about 10 times more comfortable to fish with, 10 times smoother, and the retrieve is awesome on it. It's one of my favorite reels. Along with the smoothness that these 12 ball bearings offer, I think this thing casts at least 25% farther than the Lews does. The Lews is okay, but I can get a lot more distance out of this reel in my mind. It has a dual braking system, so you can very well fine-tune it to your needs. It has the centrifugal brake on the inside, and then your standard brake on the outside, the one that you twist around and set to, more fine-tune what you're throwing. Now, the Lews has the regular braking system that you see on most reels, where you twist the knob and it switches up the brakes. The difference being, you can fine-tune the WhiteMax quite a bit more than this. This is pretty, well, once you find it on a setting that you like, you can't really change it to feel more, comfortable. If you have it on that one setting, if you change it over too much, it's not right. And if you have it, too tight, then it's not exactly set up the way that you want it. Another thing that I really actually like about the KastKing WhiteMax over this is the fact that whenever you want to take the side plate off, you have to unscrew this thing, and that can be kind of a hassle. But to get inside of the KastKing, all you have to do is push on this little knob right here, and it comes right off, which is, a lot easier than twisting, and then finally taking the thing off. One of the big things that really bothers me about the Lews is the drag. This thing only has 10 pounds of drag on it, which, that's alright. That's enough to winch in some fish. You might be, peeling some drag along the way, but the KastKing is a little bit better. It has 16.5 pounds of drag, which I'm very comfortable with. I mean, I have a complete trust that I can catch, a 10, 15, 20 pound fish with it. In fact, I've seen me do it, and not have too much issue reeling it in as far as the reel or the fish just, zooming out, getting a burst of life and just zooming away. Now, the thing is, these both don't have those really high drag systems, and the reason for that is whenever a fish bolts off like that, you want some drag. You don't want, to be sitting there with the reel locked, because whenever that fish runs, especially if you're fishing like a crankbait or something, you don't need to have all that resistance on the line. That'll hook those that'll pull those treble hooks right out of the fish's mouth. So both of these are designed where the fish runs like that, even winched down, the line still goes out, and you don't have as big of a risk pulling that hook out of the fish's mouth. I think it's kind of funny. Most people in life are looking for a deal. They're looking to get through without spending a ton of money. They want to go the cheaper route with everything. But in fishing, that's the exact opposite. Whenever people think of something really cheap, they think of the fact that it doesn't have any quality. There's no quality to it. You gotta get the biggest, the baddest, best stuff out on the market. And with just about every other company out there, that comes with a very high price tag. With KastKing, you don't have to worry about that, and you still get the quality. In fact, you get the quality of some very, very expensive reels in a very cheap package, it's awesome. And the fact is, this thing holds up. It holds up very, very well. If you've seen any of my videos catching bass this past year, you've probably seen this reel in my hand, and it has withstood all the abuse and torture that I've given it, and it didn't break the bank. I mean, as a high schooler, I could afford this reel. I bought this while I was in high school and didn't have a job, saving money. So it's not a huge investment. And whenever people spend big money on these reels and stuff, and then kids see this, they think, oh man, that's a lot of money, and it kind of deters them away from it. But whenever people can get a quality reel like this, then it's a lot cheaper, and it gives kids hope, and young people and people that don't have a lot of money, that they can afford something nice. Like I said, if I were to pick this up and I knew nothing about it, I would think it's a pretty expensive reel. And the fact that it's not really, really impresses me with all the quality that it really has. It's a nice reel, and it's kind of pretty. I mean, you've seen it before. I had it on my blue rod. I had that red, white, and blue going on, so kind of patriotic. But no matter what rod you stick it on, it pops out. It's pretty. Now, the other one's kind of dull, and yeah, it's great. Not the prettiest in the world. So my opinion. You know which brand I like better. No offense to Lews. I have nothing against Lews. I fished with them for quite a while. But now that I've found something that suits me more, I'm going to stick with it. I really love these reels, and I'm going to stick by them as long as I'm fishing. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you right here next time.